to ECQ na naman ang Metro Manila mga kasambahay. Kaya naman, back to virtual dive adventure din ang inyong diving buddy for everyone's safety. At ang ating dive exploration ngayon ay sa pamamagitan ng isang webinar. Ang Plastik-Talk, the Gen Z Hero in You. I am Cindy Maduma and this is The Dive.
Come and join our journey down into the rifts and tides. Come and sit beneath the waves, the wonders of this life. Open your eyes and see the world below the seas. It's the wonder of God's creation that makes us believe. So the dive.
Magandang hapon sa iyo, Cindy! Yes, it's my pleasure and honor to be with you this afternoon.
Magandang hapon, Bird!
Yes, maganda ka pa ngayon sa hapon, partner.
Well, I'm just adjusting to our new normal. Without further ado, we would like to welcome you to Plastik-Talk, the Gen Z Hero in You.
Bakit ba related ang recycling? Bakit related ang waste management sa marine conservation?
Kasi everything we does here sa surface ay napupunta lahat yan sa karagatan. So it's really important na sa bahay pa lang natututunan na natin mag-recycle para yung mga basura nating plastic ay hindi na mapunta sa karagatan. Kasi everything nga is interconnected, di ba? And we are all living in one earth. So it's really important.
I think isang bagay na hindi madaling ma-realize ng ating mga kabred at ng ating mga kasambahay na, magtapon ako ng plastic sa kung saan man, may impact na yun. So, ayun, very excited ako para at least malaman ng ating mga kasambahay at ng ating mga kabred kung paano ba rin sila makakatulong para sa problema na ito na talagang kinakaharap natin ngayon. Sana hindi natin masayang yung opportunity na to na may matutunan para kung paano ba tayo kahit na lockdown, kahit na pandemic ngayon, paano ba tayo pwede pang makatulong sa ating inang kalikasan. Sige, Cindy?
Alright, Virg, with that being said, let us now proceed with the heart of our program, why our oceans are so important and why must we protect them.
Karagatan ay bumapalot sa mahigit 70% ng daigdig, higit na mas malawak kaysa sa lupa. Ang dagat ang puso ng mundo. Ang pag-agos ng tubig ang pulso na bumubuhay rito. Pero paano kung tumigil na ito sa pagtibok? Mahigit 50% ng oxygen sa mundo ay nanggagaling sa karagatan. Sa bawat 10 hinga mo, 7 rito ay galing sa nare-recycle na hangin ng mga nilalang sa dagat kahit gaano ka man kalayo rito. Karamihan naman ng carbon dioxide waste ng mundo ay hinihigop din ng dagat. Higit sa 50 beses kaysa sa naiipon sa atmosphere. Ayon sa US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, ang karagatan din ang bumabalanse sa ating klima. Karamihan sa ulang pumapatak sa lupa ay galing sa tubig dagat na nagsisiguradong matitiligan ang mga tuyong kalupaan. At sa ilalim ng karagatan, isang nakamamanghang mundo ang ating matutunghayan. Nagsisilbing kanlungan sa sari-saring buhay na siya namang nagiging pagkain ng mga nananahan sa lupa. Maging sa larangan ng medisina, may mahalagang papel ang karagatan. Ayon sa mga siyentista, malaki ang posibilidad na mula sa ilalim ng dagat ay makatutuklas ng gamot para sa malubhang sakit tulad ng cancer, Alzheimer's disease at marami pang iba. Teka, sa US at kabuuan ng dagat yan ha? Paano sa Pilipinas? Sa nakita nating nakamamanghang yaman at halaga ng karagatan, masasabing pinagpala ang Pilipinas. Isang archipelago na may 7,641 isla. Ang ating bansa ay napalilibutan ng malalaking karagatan. Matatagpuan sa puso ng Coral Triangle ang sentro ng samot-saring buhay sa ilalim ng dagat. Kaya naman tinawag ang Pilipinas bilang Center of Global Marine Biodiversity. Ayon sa mga pag-aaral, sa Pilipinas matatagpuan ang pinakamaraming marine life per unit area kaysa alinmang lugar sa mundo. Dahil sa lawak na sakop ng katubigan, mahigit 60% ng populasyon ng Pilipinas ay namumuhay sa coastal areas. Mahigit 1 milyong Pilipino naman ang nakadepende sa karagatan ang kabuhayan, tulad ng pangingisda at iba pang trabahong may kaugnayan sa turismo. Dahil ang ganda at yaman ng karagatan ng Pilipinas ay tanyag sa buong mundo bilang world's leading dive destination. Kamangha-manghang isipin na sa lawak at lalim ng karagatan, tila hindi ito magkukulang. Ngunit sa kabilang banda, ang karagatan ay nahihirapan ng huminga dahil ito sa mga itinatapon nating plastic. Ayon sa Ocean Conservancy, mahigit kumulang 8 bilyong toneladang plastic ang napupunta sa dagat kada taon. At ang Pilipinas ay ikatlo sa world's largest ocean polluters. Halos 3 milyong toneladang basurang plastic ang napoproduce ng bansa at 20% nito ay napupunta sa karagatan. Maraming nilalang sa dagat ang namamatay at nagdurusa dahil sa basura. May magagawa pa ba? May magagawa ka ba? Tara sa Plastik-Talk and be part of the Gen Z heroes.
The best solution to address this problem is behavioral change and to cooperate. Everybody has to change. Everybody has to take a look at how they live their lives and what kind of quality of life do they want for the kids in the future.
Let's dive right into it, Kabred and Buddies.
Start the dive. Start the dive.
Trivia muna tayo mga kasangbahay. According to European Travel Commission o ang ETC, ang mga kabataan ngayon o ang tinatawag na Gen Z ay itinuturing na globally aware generation. Ayon sa mga pag-aaral, ang mga Gen Z ay mas conscious pagdating sa environment conservation and protection. Dagdag pa ng ETC, ang Gen Z ay may kakayahang makapag-set ng travel trends, but due to COVID-19 pandemic, maraming mga Gen Z ang hindi makapag-travel ngayon. Pero ang mga kabataang nakilala ko sa webinar ay hindi napigilan ng pandemya para patuloy na i-practice ang kanilang environmental responsibilities kahit nasa bahay lang.
Come on, let's shine at home alive, and stay na by, praying, form, and edify.
At ang mga kabataang ito ay ang grupo na naging katuwang ng UNTV The Dive Team in organizing this Plastik-Talk, ang Bread Society International. Bukod sa ating mga kabred, we will also be inspired by our speakers, the recycling heroes from Kaligiran and Clean Our Oceans Project. Isa sa mga kabataang nagpahanga sa akin sa Plastik-Talk ay si Jamin Esdicul, ang founder ng Kaligiran.
Now, more than ever, especially during the pandemic, marine ecosystems are at their most vulnerable state as we continue to overexploit it and pollute it. And yes, I'm guilty, and we all are. So sad as it is, part of that childhood memory of mine, and maybe yours as well, are the plastics and trash scattered all over the ocean and shores. And this realization made me want to do something about the issue. 4 out of 10 youth individuals identify climate change as one of the most significant issues facing the planet. And nearly 9 in 10, so that's 87%, of Gen Zers are worried for the environment and are actually driven to make a change. At the end, we're all just kind of aware of it, like we're aware of the climate crisis. However, the problem is that even if almost, if not all, of us are aware of these environmental issues, not everyone does anything about it, nor do we act on it. So usually a lot of people are aware of it, but it is not talked about enough as being something that affects us and other species as well, and something where you can take action on. Because of this, I think we need to start the conversation of the climate crisis, and we need to start a conversation on taking action on it, because obviously it's an issue that will affect not only us and the future generations after us, but other species as well who coexist in this planet. We know nga that we are not going to have a future if the planet is destroyed, but for some reason, we still continue to damage it. But you all should also know that we can change that. We can change our behaviors and we can do something about it. We, youth people, and other generations as well, should remain hopeful. We, along with other generations, the government, and the big corporations out there, need to start caring and taking action before it's too late. Because yes, it's late already, but it's not too late. We can still do something about it. And we need to encourage each other to show empathy towards the planet. We know we are guilty of being polluters, so we should act on it, obviously. We can reduce our consumption of plastic, do volunteer work, and think of other innovative and sustainable alternatives. But I think one of the true powers of our generation, of the youth, is our availability of the internet and social media. As digital natives, we can use social media, especially now during the pandemic, not only to educate ourselves on environmental issues, but to make a meaningful difference as well. Social media can actually drive change if used the right way, such as advocating and sharing information on environmental issues, emphasizing the importance of the environment's biodiversity. Fun fact, despite being the largest demographic in the world, youth commonly have the smallest voice when it comes to engagement. But young people need to actively start driving change because, after all, the world we will all inherit is shaped by the actions and decisions of today. Because of that, I say let's beat apathy. And most of us may think our individual action is small or insignificant, yet studies show that if 10%, at least 10% of any population holds a belief that we can make a change, it will spread like wildfire. It only takes the enthusiasm of a small group to turn the tide. And we all may be young, but we are powerful as well. When properly channeled, our voices and actions are strong enough to make ripples from a local to an international level. So we can combine our willpower, our passion, our enthusiasm to speak up for our shared future, using our collective power to ultimately influence the decisions being made today. Now, I tell you, we at Caligiran were super doubtful at first because we were just 3 high school students in a very, very small school. But we remained hopeful for our future and we stuck to our goals. And so far, we have done educational community events in schools. We have done eco-brick initiatives. We did social media advocacies. And we also did the Upcycling initiative to drop the plastic with co-op.
Ang Clean Our Oceans Project ay matagal nang nagtuturo ng proper plastic consumption and disposal sa iba't ibang komunidad tulad ng private and household sectors. Maliban dyan, aktibo rin ng NGO na ito sa paghubog ng mga kabataan upang maging environmentalist at marine conservationist. Tulad ng ating next speakers na sina Bench Isdicul at Santiago Varona, ang interns ng Clean Our Oceans Project.
I really wanted to join on something or an organization that would help the country or our environment. At first, I was a volunteer for co-op. And then, noong 2019 lang, bigla ko na nalaman na nagsimula pala si Jamie ng Caligiran niya. And I'm so shocked because I was like, wow, kapatid ko. So like, ever since gusto ko talaga at least do something with that. And I never found the time to, or maybe I didn't have the courage to. But then now that my sister was there, I had a bigger motivation to do it. Yeah, it just made me like feel happy, making other people aware of, the impacts of plastic and like, what we could do as children or as an individual to help our community.
The reason why I feel like the youth are so important is, one, we could teach our friends, we could teach our staff members at school about this topic, and we could bring it up in different discussions. So having that ability and that power to actually encourage people to talk about and even do something about this subject is very important, and actually bringing emphasis to it, because I feel like a lot of people, it's a lot of talk and no action. They just talk about the subject and they don't do anything about it. So talking to each other and doing like what Jam is doing, and making organizations like Kaligiran that are trying to actively help this planet. What we could do is use the time that when we have been during the pandemic to actually make something. We should be doing something beneficial to the planet by researching about what we could do to lessen our waste. So when we go back to a normal way of life without this quarantine, we could start doing things like using our own containers. If we are able to actually clean the things that are being dropped off, then it won't have that like appearance of it being trash. It's just going to look like a plastic product that doesn't necessarily have the contents in it. And because of it being clean, it won't smell either. Learning how to just simply do things like washing your plastic before tossing it aside would help a lot. And it would also be something it's kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you make your bed. It's like something that is what should be turned into a habit, and it's an accomplishment for the day that will motivate you to get through the day in a positive light. And it'll like just be something that can encourage you to actually take action, because it's something simple and it's something that doesn't take a lot of energy to do.
You can do something if you just put your mind and your heart to it, and we all can make a difference. And we should know that every little step does count, even if it's not evident at times. For us to all have the power in us to act, speak out, and come together for the better of our planet. And this planet is our home after all, and it will only remain a healthy and beautiful place if we all take steps to foster conservation and environmental concern in those around us. So we should take the time to make a difference and be conscious and mindful of the choices we make today, knowing that they do have an impact on all of us and the other organisms that call this planet home. And so I'd like to say, let us change our behavior and start a conversation on conservation.
Ayon sa Asian Development Bank, lumobo sa 16,000 tons of plastic-based medical waste ang na-generate ng Pilipinas sa unang 2 buwan nang magsimula ang pandemya. Bukod sa medical waste, lumaki rin ang consumption sa single-use plastics. Ito ay dahil naging malaking parte ng ating precautionary measures ang paggamit ng mga disposable mask, latex gloves, at disposable packaging. Marami rin sa atin ang dumepende sa online shopping at food deliveries nang mag-lockdown. Dahil dito, pinangangambahan na trumiple pa ang dami ng plastic waste na napupunta sa karagatan. Pero may solusyon dyan ang Clean Our Oceans Project, mga kasangbahay, sa pamamagitan ng responsible plastic consumption and disposal. Alamin kung paano tayo maaring makapagsimula ng greener lifestyle at the comforts of our home, na pwedeng gawin ng mga kabataan kahit nasa loob ng tahanan. With Co-op founder, Ms. Ana Varona.
We have 7 kinds of plastics. The important thing kasi here that we are trying to teach people is that these plastics can be upcycled or recycled. All of them but one cannot be used because it's toxic. That's called PVC. Important thing is, the very first thing that you should know is how to sort them. When you sort the plastics according to classification, it is easier for Co-op to send it to different manufacturers who need it. So we have to classify it. Why do we ask people to do it for themselves? Because kayo bumili niyan eh. Diba?
Yeah.
Kayo bumili, responsibilidad ninyo. It's like as if you are being handed a puppy. When you accept the puppy is your responsibility. When the plastic is given to you and you accept it, you also accept your responsibility of disposing it properly without it polluting the ocean. Make it manufacturer ready, which is clean. Kailangan linisin. Huwag niyo po papadadala yung plastic sa drop-off points na may dugo, may mantika, o kaya may mabahong amoy. Huwag po. Kasi hindi na ho plastic yan. Basura na ho yan. Parang tao lang yan. Kung anong trato ho ninyo dun sa gamit, kung basura ang trato nyo, basura yon. Parang tao. Pag tinatatunan yung basura, basura na yung tao. So let's not treat these plastics as trash. They're not trash. They are a recyclable material. So we encourage you to be part of the solution, not the pollution. So our roadmap to action is to think before you throw. Think before you throw is actually thinking, should this be thrown or should this be recycled? Should I buy this or could I do without it? So it is a guide to sorting your plastics before you drop it. There are 7 types of plastics, so you should get to know them in order for it to be manufacturer ready. Type 1. Type 1 is polyethylene. Yan ang parang napaka-popular na plastic. They're usually clean, clear, and crispy. They're usually bottled water. Ang next po na type na plastic, type number 2, HDPE. Ang HDPE po usually opaque, durable, at saka brittle. Pero matibay siya. They're usually shampoo bottles, lotion. Susunod na plastic ay type 3 PVC. Siya ay flexible, siya ay durable, tapos may amoy ho siya. Ang credit card, pag binigay ho sa inyo, toxic ho yan. Hindi lang ho dahil sa paggagastos, pero toxic din sa environment. Most recycling companies will not accept PVC because it's very toxic. Pag yan ho, ininit, yung fumes niya can cause a lot of diseases like cancer. Ang type 4, which is low-density polyethylene, is thin cellophane. Yan. Cling wrap. Marami hong type 4 ng nakokolekta namin sa drop na plastic dahil sa online shopping. Type 5 is actually durable. It's strong, it's flexible. It also can withstand microwaving. It can be reused. Ang type 6 naman is polystyrene. It's brittle. Usually, type 6 is used for cold storage. And type 7, yan ang pinaka-famous na plastic. Yan ang others. Diyan tayo naging bronze medalist ng plastic polluter of the world. Okay? Sachets, malalagyan ng chips. Type 7 ho lahat yan. Ang type 7 po ay mura, usually may foil, at saka multi-layered. Bakit to? Naging challenge ho ang sachet i-recycle dahil multi-layered niya. One layer is PET, one layer is type 4, one layer is type 6. Kaya naging challenge siya. Paano ho ba natin mababawasan ang plastic pollution? Well, the biggest impact is born through behavioral change and necessity. Behavioral change is when you start having a different relationship with your lifestyle and with the plastics that you buy. It's born out of necessity because we are not going to have a choice. So with Co-op, the biggest challenge was asking people to clean their plastics, asking them to dry their plastic, asking them to sort their plastic, and asking them to actually drop it off at the drop-off points. Now, with Co-op, we are able to motivate people to do that. That's why we're able to collect tons of plastic now in 1 year. Noong 2019, we were able to collect 14 tons of plastic, which was a big change from 2017 na every month, 30 kilograms lang yung nakukuha natin. Despite pandemic, we are doing the same thing right now. Drop the Plastic is all about clean, dry, sort, and send. It's 4 different actions that will lead to many benefits for the future of our children on the planet Earth. For order for them to survive. The advantages for the planet is, for recycling, is that it reduces the need to mine, reducing the destruction of the planet. It also saves the ecosystem that provides us with the food we eat, the air we breathe. You have to think about it because 7 out of the 10 breaths we breathe is produced by the marine environment. So I'm asking all of you to please take a truthful look at your lifestyle. Think how much the environment is paying for all of this. Because we would like you to match the value of your life to how the planet has valued yours.
May Mahigit 2,300 Gen Zs nationwide ang dumalo sa Plastik-Talk webinar na ito. Sila ay ang mga mag-aaral mula sa 37 universities sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng bansa. Ilan lamang sila sa mga kabataan na may malasakit sa ating karagatan. At sa mga natutunan natin ngayong araw, may magagawa pa rin tayo kahit nasa bahay lamang. Patunay na anuman ang katayuan natin sa buhay, bata o matanda, malapit o malayo man tayo sa karagatan, maaari pa rin tayo maging kabahagi ng advokasiyang I Protect the Ocean.
Pagkain, hangin, tubig, hanap buhay, transportasyon, medisina, panangga sa mga epekto ng pagbabago ng klima. Sa lawak ng karagatan, hindi maitatago kung gaano ito sa ating kahalaga. Sabi nila, hindi raw kailangan ng dagat ang tao. Pero iba na ngayon ang takbo ng mundo. Kailangan ng karagatan ng ating proteksyon laban sa mga pang-aabuso at polusyon na tayo rin ang may gawa. Ikaw, ako, lahat tayo. Anumang katayuan natin sa buhay, kung ang bawat isa ay aaksyon, ay malaki ang magagawa. Kailangan lang nating magkaisa.
I protect.
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 I protect. I protect the ocean.
Nauna man tayo rito sa mundo, hindi natin maitatanggi na may matututunan din tayo sa mga kabataang ito. Tunay na malaki ang papel ng mga Gen Z, our Gen Z heroes. Pero bilang mga nakatatanda at mag-iiwan sa kanila ng yaman ng dagat, responsibilidad din natin ang pagbibigay ng tamang gabay at magandang ehemplo sa pangangalaga ng ating karagatan. At higit sa lahat ay ang pagpapaunawa natin sa kanila na may isang dakilang lumikha kung bakit may karagatan tayong tinatamasa. This is your diving buddy, to dive!
Song of the dive.